Now it goes without saying that a well-maintained bike is going to give you less problems when you're out riding, but still we're all going to have a mechanical from time to time. Now that could be something like a puncture, which is an easy fix, or it could be something a bit more dramatic like a broken rear derailleur, which could end your ride. Now everyone should be carrying some kind of tools and spare parts with them, but no one wants to be taking a full-size toolbox with them when riding. So what do you really need to take, and how is the best method to take it with you? Let's have a closer look, shall we? Okay, so I have a selection of things here, different size riding bags, hip packs, big day packs, camera bags, and all sorts of accessories. Now this is all the sort of stuff that I might consider riding with, but you don't necessarily need this yourself. So let's break this video down into 4 main things. The absolute bare minimum, a hip pack or a really compact bag, a compact day pack, and a full-sized option that can carry literally anything. First up, the bare minimum. Okay, so let's have a look at the bare minimum. Now this is for the sort of just a 1 hour ride, perhaps somewhere close to home, or if you're at a bike park and you can afford to leave all your stuff in the car. Now of course, water should be your absolute bare minimum, but in an ideal world, you want to carry a pump, a tube, and a multi-tool as well. And there's a few different options for doing this. Now I've actually got a multi-tool and a pump on the bottle cage itself here. So that is a very convenient way of carrying that and not having to worry about it elsewhere. I also strap on a chain joining link onto the handlebars. I always do that with all of my bikes. I have the relevant speed one. It's the Shimano 12-speed quick link on this bike. That is there for a rainy day, sorted. But you might not want to carry this stuff on the bike like this. Another option would be one of these enduro straps, which means you can carry a CO2 cartridge, tie lever, and a tube. Strap it onto your bike. Nice option. The final option would be to carry it on your body. Now, if you're going to carry a multi-tool in a pocket, definitely look into one of the ones that has a little protective neoprene case. If these things open up whilst they're in your pocket, you fall off your bike, it could skewer you, so just take care with that. You don't really want to be having things like that in your actual pockets if you can help it. Something I like to use is one of these super minimal compact hip packs. I can put my car keys or my home keys, my multi-tool, CO2 cartridge, a tiny little inner tube, and some tie levers in it, and you almost don't even notice it. You can go under a jersey and away you go. Okay, so the next size up to carry that bit more stuff for a longer ride, hip pack is a brilliant idea. Also known as a waist pack, enduro pack, fanny pack, bum bag, even a crossbody bag if you're young and cool, not like me. Now there's loads of different options on the market in all sorts of different sizes. Some of them have hydration bladders built into them, which is a great feature. Now this is about as big as I like to go, and actually I don't use the hydration bladder. I stick the water bottle on my bike and I make full advantage of this size. I can actually fit enough stuff in here for a pretty major ride. Now the good advantage of these are the fact they're very small, they keep the weight down low, they can be extremely comfortable, they feel nice because of the fact the weight is down here and the rest of your back is nice and free, so if you're riding in hot weather, they do feel great. If you're a tall rider, the added benefit is keeping that weight low, you don't have a bag up high. A lot of my local trails, I tend to hook up my bags when I'm ducking under trees, so these work really great. The downsides are they're not always that comfortable. They can be quite uncomfortable, to be fair. Look for ones that have got nice wide straps that have a nice big waistband that really supports that load. Look for ones that have got external strapping on them to really tighten that load against your body so don't move around. And always try and look for ones that have, if I just undo this, a tool pocket of some kind. Now this has a tool pocket that faces outwards. This is really important because the way you pack a hip pack like this is very important. You want easy access to the stuff when you're repairing your bike. You might want to have a multi-tool in one of the side pockets, but the rest of your tools you want to be packing away from your body because of the fact they can be sharp and you're going to be carrying a few more things in these. Now let's take a quick look at some of the things you're likely to be able to carry in one of these. Okay, so what to carry in one of these sort of bags. Now first up, you've got a bit more room, so take advantage of that and have a full-size multi-tool. This one has a chain tool on it and all of the features you're likely to use out on the trail. Now I carry one of these, and in addition I also like to carry a tubeless repair kit, whereas one other option available to you now are some of the multi-tools out there that actually have the tubeless repair tools built onto them. Now these are fantastic if you want to carry less, but I don't mind carrying a bit more, so pick what suits you. Personally, I'll go with the old school tool that has a little bit of everything on it, even if I'm less likely to use that stuff. Of course, I want to carry some cable ties with me. I'm going to carry a CO2 cartridge and the adapter That's just screwed on very lightly, just for purpose of the shot. You don't really want to transport it like that in case it actually makes it go off in your bag. Now really with these, only use them in case of emergency. You know, if you're really struggling, you need to get home, or if you're in a race. Otherwise, you're best off carrying a pump. You'll be able to fit a compact pump in most hip packs, or alternatively, like I showed you, you could strap this onto your bike. Keep that one out of the equation. Now, as far as the spare tube goes, it's up to you. You could carry a regular tube, which is great. We've all got them lying around. In my case, I like to carry one of these little compact Tubolito ones. They're tiny, basically, and that is the reason for that. They're just so small to take up less room in the bag. Now, depending on the time of year that you're riding, you might want to consider carrying a beanie, or maybe just something in there just to keep your head warm. And also, while we're at it, a set of emergency lights. Now, we're filming this in October. You can probably tell by the colours here in the UK. And a lot of my local trails I have to ride to, country lanes, to get to wooded sections like this. Quite often, you're having a bit of fun, it gets a bit dark. Not dark enough for full lights, but to have something to be seen with is a great idea, and they're tiny. Chuck them in your bag and forget about them. Finally, the last two things, I always carry some rubber nitrile gloves. Great for working on your bike, avoid you getting dirty hands or making your riding gloves dirty. But also, if you get cold hands, you can put these on underneath your riding gloves, just a little winter hack there for you. And finally, some tyre levers, because of the occasion where you're going to need to do a tyre repair or put a tube in. But also, it might benefit you to look at these ones. These ones are power link pliers as well. So you can actually split a chain if you needed to. They also have a third hand tool built onto them. You can store a chain link on them, and of course they're tyre levers. So that's a great selection of things to carry in a small pack. And it really doesn't take up much room. And in fact, so much more room available in this particular bag that I can actually carry my camera in here as well, which I put inside the beanie when I ride. Just a little compact camera just to capture the ride, and that's pretty much what I use for all the stuff I put up on Instagram that people ask me about. Nice compact setup, all fits in here with loads of room to spare. Okay, so next up is for the proper ride. So you're going out for a few hours, so you're going to need to carry, at the very least, some more water. So a bigger pack, a hydration pack, is a good idea. Anything from around 10 to 15 litres is going to be good for this, depending on how much gear you want to carry and the sort of weather you're riding in. Now, I think this one's 14 litres. It carries a hydration pack and actually also has a back protector built in. So if you're riding in severe terrain or if you're racing, then this is actually a really sensible idea to carry. Now, the good thing about riding with a bag of this sort of size is it's going to suit virtually any type of ride. It's not too big to take on that short ride if you want to, and also it'll do an all-day ride as well. You can really cram stuff into these. Now, something to take into account is if you're riding in a massive group, maybe you should lighten the load between you all. You know, you can spread out those inner tubes, spread out the pump, stuff like that. You don't all need to be carrying the same things, so just slim down the load if there's a group. But this is the sort of stuff you want to be looking at to fill a bag like this. Now, to start with, of course, you want a multi-tool. Again, go for the biggest option with all of the tools on there possible. Pump. Now, again, I like to carry this on my bike, but you can actually take advantage of having a bigger bag and have a larger pump. You can get those small floor standing pumps, and they are amazing. They're so good to use, but of course you do need the bigger bag in order to use them. A couple of inner tubes, 2 or 3 wouldn't hurt in fact. This is a regular inner tube, this one is one of those compact tubes. Yeah, they cost a fortune, but really good as a backup, and it means you can carry 2 in virtually the space of 1 there. The CO2 cartridge as a get you out of danger, but also if you do need to replace a tubeless tyre out on the trail and you can't inflate it with your regular pump, you can reseat them with these. Okay, it doesn't always play friendly with tyre sealant, but the point is it can work quite well. Now, you might want to have a tubeless repair kit as well. The eventualities of going for a longer ride is you could well slice a tyre, so being able to fix that on the trail is a definite boon. Rubber nitrile gloves, always good to put in any of your bags. They double up as waterproof gloves for winter as well. Now, always carry that spray like I mentioned earlier on. Good for cleaning hands, good for antibacterial properties. And also, in addition to that, some glasses cleaner. You're out riding a longer time, the chances are you're going to get stuff all over your eyewear if you do use that stuff, especially if you're riding in muddy conditions like we do pretty much constantly here in the UK. This stuff is really good for that. Okay, tyre levers, these ones double up as a power link splitting tool as well, so a brilliant piece of kit. Cable ties, and something I like to carry in my bigger bags is a little pruning or trail saw. Super useful if you're maybe out on your local trails and there's been some fallen stuff and you just want to trim it back, but also just a really good compact tool to carry. Next up, first aid kit. Now you can go lightweight on this, but it's definitely a good idea to start considering carrying some basic first aid stuff with you on your rides. Some lights, like I suggested earlier, if you're riding somewhere where you need to ride to or from the trails, it's not even such a bad idea to have a set of these in daylight. Now, being out for a longer amount of time, you want to consider some food. Trail snacks, you could have some trail mix, go to healthier options, you can have some dedicated protein bars, you can get these little gel cubes, there's lots of different options out there available for you. And finally, a waterproof jacket and a warm hat that you can stuff into that bag. They'll stuff in nice and compact and you've got loads of room. That's a good amount of kit for an all-day ride. Okay, so next up really is the full Monty. This is for your major mountain biking missions. Could be a day out in the proper mountains, it could be multiple day event, it could be bike packing, you name it. The sort of stuff where you need to carry absolutely everything and be self-sufficient. For pack size, you're looking at anything over 15 litres. Preferably up to about 30 or even 35 for those big mountain missions. Okay, so in addition to what you would take for a normal major ride, you want to have a few extra things in mind as well. Now, I'd always take a shock pump because if you do need to make adjustments to your bike, it means you can do that. Again, if you're riding in a group, maybe one rider could carry a shock pump, another rider could carry a pump, etc. Now, with your first aid kit, you probably want to go a little bit more comprehensive now. I'd definitely recommend carrying an emergency one of the space blankets because if you or one of your friends does suffer an injury, you're going to get cold quick if you go into shock. So you do want to make sure you can keep an eye on that. Also carry one of these sprays that helps congeal blood. So if you have an injury where there's a lot of blood, it's good to actually use this stuff here and there. And also, I actually supersized my first aid kit and put a few additional things in there. I always put painkillers in there, always have a few extras like paper stitches, Savlon, like antiseptic wipes, antiseptic cream. Anything that you think you're able to use is worth carrying. Now, I'd also have a little bike first aid kit as well. I carry this little tin with me and it has a number of things in it. On the outside here, there's an O-ring, which can be used for a number of things. A couple of tyre boots, which, to be fair, I've never had to use them out on a trail, but at some point they might come in handy. There's also a third hand that I made out of an old spoke. Super useful for rejoining chains. Don't get me wrong, the multi-tools do have them on, but they are a lot smaller, so sometimes having a bigger one helps. Now, inside here, there's a number of things. There's chain pins, there's chain links, puncture repair kit. I've even got a spare mech hanger. There's chainring bolts, there's hanger bolts, cleat bolts, all sorts of additional things that you're probably never really going to need to use, but on those bigger rides with a bigger bag, it doesn't take up any room. It's well worth carrying this sort of stuff with you because it will, sooner or later, come in handy for you or that unlucky person that you discover when you're out riding. Always good to be able to help someone out. Now, in addition to cable ties, something that's worth carrying, a couple of tow straps. They're reusable, they can carry quite a heavy load, useful for a number of different things. And while you're at it, put some electrical tape in there as well. Great for taping things onto your bike, great if you maybe break your external cable routing, hangers or anything like that, you can retape your cables on or your hoses back onto the bike. Chain lube, depending on the conditions you're riding in. If you're on a mega dry, dusty, desert style ride in the middle of summer, then obviously your chain's going to run pretty dry, and if it's dusty, it could get pretty noisy as well. So having some chain lube is a good idea. And again, wet lube for the opposite conditions. When it's super filthy and wet, it washes everything away and you start wearing away your chain. So lube is a good idea. Now, I also carry a generic multi-tool. This one's a Leatherman, but you get Gerbers and all sorts of different ones out there. It's got a set of pliers on here, there's knife blades, there's all sorts of different things that can come in handy when you're out in the big wilderness. Just to get you back from safety, I carry a little helmet light. It doubles up as a torch. This fits onto your helmet, and it does mean if things do get dark, this is good enough for a solid hour at full chat to get me out of there. So a good thing to carry. Spare clothes, an obvious one. Waterproof jacket and a hat at the least if you're riding in cooler weather. An insulated layer. I've just got an insulated gilet here that stuffs up to almost no size at all. That fits in the bottom of the bag, no problem at all. And also, if you want to carry some cameras, GoPros, anything like that to capture your ride, on a bigger bag, this is the time when you can really load it up. Having some kind of little mini tripod like one of these little gorilla pods is a good idea. Again, I carry my compact camera. Sometimes I carry a bigger camera with a few lenses, in which case you want to consider how you're going to carry it. Now this bag actually has a camera compartment in it, but yours might not, so you might want to consider some kind of inserts that are available out there. If you're just carrying a few extra bits and pieces, these little pouches are great for carrying cards in. But something a bit bigger, you can actually carry lenses in things like this. It has little pouches on the inside that are padded. I actually carry this in my riding bag, along with my XT3 and a few different lenses. It fits really well in a regular riding bag, and I know it's going to look after it. So there are all sorts of things that you want to consider taking with you on those bigger rides. The point is, go prepared. Prepare for that eventuality that might not happen, and you're always going to be good to go. I'll tell you what though, the day that you don't carry this stuff, you're going to discover that you really do need it. So take care out there. Let us know what you think in the video. Let us know what you love to carry, and if I've missed anything out, I'd love to know. Let us know in those comments, and I'll see you next time. See you later.